Tony, you were
Hello?
saying, breaking news, Zidane is back.
Shall I do that, yeah?
Let's just talk about it. It's the open.
Yeah,
man.
we got breaking news officially confirmed. Zinedine Zidane has returned to Real Madrid. What's everyone's thoughts on this?
Not again. Alright, there's no Champions League, so there's no point of him coming back. Yeah. The only thing that he's going to salvage fourth, right? That's it. That's the max he can do. Get in top four.
Okay, this is from ESPN, and they are pretty credible when they say this. So, sources have told ESPN FC that Madrid held talks Monday, expecting to ratify not only Solari's departure but also reappoint Zidane with wider power and influence over the club's transfer market choices. And that was reportedly something that Zidane was very, very frustrated about, because he left because he thought the club needed a complete overhaul and the squad needed a rebuild. Because he thought a lot of these guys were not very motivated. And Perez was basically coming over the top of him and saying, I believe in these veterans, they can still carry us. And Zidane was basically kind of like, these guys don't have anything to play for anymore, and I want fresh players. So I get why Zizou was frustrated, and I completely understand why he came back if he was guaranteed to have more power about his squad selection.
Yeah.
Because that was reportedly what he would have demanded at Juventus and at Manchester United or whoever was interested for Zidane. He demanded to have a veto power and sort of a final say on who comes in and who doesn't. Because at Real Madrid, players were signed. We all know Florentino. If Florentino chooses to sign someone, Florentino will sign someone. Like you're not gonna have any fucking say over who stays, who goes.
But do you think Zidane going back to Madrid has got something to do with the fact that it's pretty much confirmed that Solskjaer will be United manager next season?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I don't. I honestly don't.
For the remainder of the season.
They're appointing him basically as an old school manager, if you will. He's going to have control over transfers. Like, he's not going to be negotiating, but he's going to have control over who comes in and who doesn't. Because I think Perez, so according to all the reports I've read, the reason why Zidane left in the first place is because Florentino told him, we can't sell, you're not allowed to sell Bale, you're not allowed to sell Modric, Kroos, Benzema, all of those guys he wanted to basically get rid of. After Ronaldo announced he was leaving, Zidane wanted to transition into a younger squad, and basically what Perez told him is, no, these guys have won us too much, I don't want to sell any of these guys. And then Zidane basically told him, yo, I want 3 Champions Leagues, go fuck yourself. If you're not going to give me the squad that I want, I don't want to work. Because when you think about it, why does Zidane need to work in the first place? He's got so much money. He's won so many things. He's won so many things as a manager. Why would he want to work unless there are perfect conditions?
Yeah.
He doesn't have any need to. He literally...
I thought Zidane was moving to Juve.
Me too. But the thing is, obviously, that Real Madrid approached him, and I think Florentino came and basically, which is super weird, which is super weird for Florentino. It's like Florentino, literally, according to reports, humbled himself before Zidane and said, please, Zizou, please come back.
Yeah, he knew he had to.
Other Spanish biased media, obviously the one that is favoring Madrid, are going to say he made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Huh?
I think Florentino basically bent over, pulled down his pants, and said, "Zizou, do whatever you want."
Wow.
That's what it sounds like. Because it's confirmed that he's going to have control over. He's going to have final say over transfers. Obviously, he's not going to have say over targets. But
okay, so he's going to basically have full rights in signing the next Galacticos, and then he's going to win the Champions League again.
Yeah, it's basically going to be okay. The club has a target, and Zidane and sort of. I'm telling you, it's going to be like an old school English manager system, where it's basically, I want this guy, and this guy. The club, make it happen. Or the club has a target, and then Zizou decides, okay, I want this guy in my squad, or no, I don't want this guy on my squad. Where before, it was Florentino makes the signings, Florentino constructs the squads, you, Zidane, you manage it. And now it's basically Zidane gets to veto. So if Florentino wants to sign Hazard and Zidane doesn't want Hazard, Zidane can say, no, you're not signing Hazard for me. Like, I don't want Hazard. But I think Zidane has a quality relationship with Hazard, and I only think this will go to the point where now Hazard to Real Madrid seems inevitable because Zidane is back. And I also think now Mbappe to Real Madrid seems very likely.
Yeah.
What about Kane?
No. They don't want ball.
That's the thing. If the Real Madrid door is closed now, it looks like Pochettino is staying. It looks like Pochettino. Like, can we just make fun of Pochettino? Because, Ash, and I'll just let you have this point because I think you're about to have the most glee with this. Pochettino played the game with Manchester United and you played the game with Real Madrid. And now it looks as if both those jobs are off the market and he's stuck at Spurs.
He's stuck with no trophies.
And the thing about Harry Kane is like the strikers above him. Lewandowski to an extent can happen. So there's actually better plays in him. So that's what I feel. I don't think Harry Kane is going to sign.
Yeah.
I think
what about Eriksen? Eriksen?
It's very slim. Eriksen is the most.
Yeah. I think Eriksen is definitely going. I think that now that Zidane is back, I know for a fact, like when you look at the playing time, and when you look at people's roles in the squad, Zidane is obviously a huge Luka Modric fan. So I don't think Luka Modric is leaving, but I think Toni Kroos is. Because when you look at the last two seasons, Kovacic used to play a lot in place of Kroos. Kroos used to get rested. Kroos used to get rested a lot more than Modric did. So
do you think now that Zidane's back, do you think that will block the Isco move to Juve?
Possibly, because he likes Isco. He used Isco a lot. So I think the guys that will go are... I think he'll get rid of Benzema, for sure. I think Benzema's done. I think now that Zidane is back, I think Icardi is on. Because
I think Benzema might go to Inter and Icardi would go to Real Madrid.
That would seem logical because
Inter needs something in return.
Yeah.
I mean, cash is not going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because they're not gonna buy a similar class of center forward, even though I think Icardi is miles better than Benzema. But again,
they'll still have to make it.
Yeah, but with Icardi's personality, who's more perfect to manage that personality than Zidane?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, you know that if Icardi makes a move to Real Madrid, Zidane is gonna manage that perfectly. Like he's just gonna. He's not gonna be like Spalletti going on in a press conference and taking shots at your best player. This is not gonna happen. So I think with Zidane now, Icardi becomes realistic, Hazard becomes realistic, Mbappe becomes realistic. I think Eriksen is pretty much done because Eriksen is not re-signing with Tottenham. He's entering
and he doesn't even
that would
about
be
Tottenham anymore. He's not.
if them signings happen, Real Madrid would be one scary team, man.
Yeah, and see, Eriksen is not going to resign at Tottenham. He's entering the last year of his contract, and that gives Real Madrid and Eriksen tremendous leverage. And
I still think Kane will go to Real Madrid.
I think it's Icardi.
Why would they need Kane when they got Icardi? Like you're gonna you're gonna sell Benzema for Icardi, and then for Eriksen, you can make up for that money with Bale by getting Bale.
What if Benzema went to Tottenham?
Bottle job striker for a bottle job team.
Oh.
But honestly, when you think about it,
but I think Bale to Spurs is more like
Nah, Bale will go Man United if anything.
No, but then we don't need him. Solskjaer would definitely not have a guy who's injured. I mean, he's already.
See, I think that Bale in particular would work with Solskjaer. I think that's...
No, but then he's injured. He gets injured a lot.
Yeah, but you still have the backup dancer.
Bale to Arsenal.
But then we can't really have a backup. We can't really have that backup dancer when we're really going for the league.
Yeah, but
who knows? Real Madrid might. Who knows? Real Madrid might not go for Icardi or Kane. They might go for Yaya Sanogo.
Ash, the backup
the problem is that he can't. Yeah.
Ash, the backup dancer is
60 billion and have Bale missing for 5 to.
No, but see, that's why I'm saying you have the backup dancer. You can manage his playing time with the backup dancer. The backup dancer is a backup dancer for a reason. Jay Lings is dancing on Ciara's next tour for a reason.
Can Real Madrid take Iwobi?
Chill. I'm saying that you bring in Bale and you can manage his playing time, and I'm sure Solskjaer is the type of guy that's going to put his arm around Bale's shoulder and say, listen, Gareth, you're not someone that's very, you have injury issues. So we're going to rest you in the smaller games, and we're going to play Lingard. So you can be fit 25, 30 times a season in all the big games where we need you, and you play these 25, 30 a game. These 25, 30 games, you give us 15 goals, 15 assists. Perfect.
Yeah.
So
my thing is that, when he actually played Mason Greenwood, I thought Mason Greenwood would be the next introduction to the squad, to the main squad. He actually was superb, and he's actually good on the right too. He can play as a striker. So I don't mind Greenwood swapping the position with Rashford in the middle of the game. I feel it's going to be either Greenwood and another winger. Yeah.
But again, you can still bring through Greenwood. I don't think there's any problem with that, because right now, when you look at your front line, you still lack depth, in my opinion. You still lack a top quality right winger. You still lack a top quality right winger. We all know Lingard can basically play right wing and left wing. He's pretty decent on both sides. So think about this. Your first front three is Martial, Rashford, and Bale. And on the bench, you'll have Lingard and Lukaku, and as a reserve, you have Greenwood. That sounds pretty good, huh? I don't want to go.
It's actually really risky going for a 30-year-old for 6 million. I mean, you could buy a world-class centre back for that.
But still, you'll still buy a center back, in my opinion. I don't think Real Madrid is getting a massive fee for Gareth Bale because of his wages. Like, nobody's gonna. And I think that Gareth Bale to Manchester United is
likely. That's it.
I think Gareth Bale to Manchester United relies on the fact that you guys have to get rid of Sanchez. I know about you, but simply the mechanism with your wage structure and how much you pay Sanchez works in the way that you would have to dump Sanchez first in order to buy Bale. So if there are any takers for Sanchez, then you would move for Gareth Bale, in my opinion. But until Sanchez goes, I don't think Man United have any interest in Bale because of his wages, because you're already stuck with Sanchez. And when you think about it, someone on that wages, I would trust Gareth Bale if properly managed.
Hang on. Sanchez to Inter Milan is also more likely, isn't it?
I would trust Bale. I would trust Bale if properly managed, and especially coming back to England, because he clearly doesn't fit in Spain. Like he hasn't adjusted culturally. That's the biggest criticism, that he's not fit in the locker room. He hasn't adjusted culturally to Spain, and that's why he doesn't like it there. So I think if he comes back to England, he is properly managed physically by Solskjaer and by Man United. I would trust Gareth Bale for the next 3 to 4 years to produce top quality football in the Premier League, rather than I would trust Alexis Sanchez to do anything.
But then again, Mr. Mark Goldbridge says that it's a flop of a signing. So we're supposed to believe Mark Goldbridge, isn't it?
Yes, Goldbridge is always right. Same way DT is always right. If DT tells you,
one of his old videos, it was dated back to I don't know when, but then he said that basically Bale is the best signing, and then after a couple of months he said that Bale is a poor signing because he just got injured. So now that Mark Goldbridge is he doesn't want him because United are flourishing. So we don't want any more oldies. We got rid of Jose Mourinho, so we're definitely going to get rid of Sanchez. So we're just hiring youngsters. So according to Mark Goldbridge, Manchester United FC or Mark Goldbridge FC are going to sign Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, but in my opinion, look at it this way. So if I don't know if Mason Greenwood, and I'll look this up, but you said Greenwood can play on the right wing, but he can
play on the right wing.
Yeah,
he's a left-footed player.
Yeah, the thing is, if you sign Jadon Sancho, you're blocking Greenwood's path into the first team. If you sign Gareth Bale, you can slowly, in 3 to 4 years that it will take Greenwood to develop because he's 17, you can slowly groom Greenwood long-term behind Gareth Bale. And you still have Lingard, who can come in on either flank and do a job for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you said that, we're going to have a surprise on Friday.
Yeah.
Does that involve a winger on the United transfer?
No comment.
No comment. No. If it's so, we wouldn't be talking a lot of shit right now.
Nope, I'm not revealing anything until Friday. I apologise, but that's the way it is.
All right, then let's go on.
As far as I heard about Greenwood, he's reportedly he can play with he's both-footed. That's what I heard about him.
He plays as a striker as of now. Yeah,
he's I think a really good young forward, and I think you need to. A lot of people want to see these type of guys in their first team, but I also think there needs to be a development curve and sort of a slow increase in their playing time. You can't just chuck them in and hope for the best. I don't think that works. I think that if you get a top quality veteran like Gareth Bale, that I think if he comes back to the Premier League, he'll immediately be one of the top players in the league. So he'll take your attack up to the level of a Man City or a Liverpool. I think he'll definitely increase your production. If you have, think about it. You have Martial, Rashford, and Bale. The movement of that front line, the pace of that front line would be crazy.
Yeah.
And you have Pogba feeding them balls. What more do you want? That's why I don't get why Manchester United fans are like, oh, we don't need Gareth Bale. No, you need Gareth Bale. You signed Alexis Sanchez to be Gareth Bale. The problem is Alexis Sanchez was never Gareth Bale. That's where Woodward fucked up. But you definitely need a top-line superstar in your team. And I think Bale, commercially it's a hit. I think the player quality is a hit. I think culturally he's a hit because he doesn't need to adjust to the Premier League. He's already been a superstar here.
Yeah.
I think it's a complete fit because, again, Zidane used to rotate Bale with Lucas Vazquez, and you basically have the English version of Lucas Vazquez in Lingard. They're literally the same player, Lucas Vazquez and Lingard. It's a perfect situation for Bale. He wouldn't need to play that many games. He just come in for the big games, put in a performance, do what you guys need him to do, and you don't need, again, Ash, you don't need Gareth Bale to win you a game against Burnley. You need him in a game like yesterday for Gareth Bale to put away the chances that Lukaku can't put away. That's where you need him. And to me, Rashford is still developing to be a player of that level. I think he's still not consistent enough to be relied upon like that. And Lukaku has shown repeatedly when you need to rely on him, when the chances fall to him, that you have no idea whether he will go like he did in the PSG game. 2 chances fall to Lukaku, he scores twice, or 3 chances fall to Lukaku against Arsenal, and he doesn't score a single one.
Yeah.
You have no idea with Lukaku. It's a mixed bag. And so for me, you need a Gareth Bale to where you know if 2 chances fall to him in a game, he's going to score one of them for sure, if not both.
That is true.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a no-brainer if you get rid of Sanchez. Again, that's how the math works. Because unless you get rid of Sanchez, you'll be in a pickle when it comes to signing defenders and signing reinforcements on sort of the rest of your squad. I think you need to sign you need to anchor your squad in other areas. You need to make sure that you have a top line center back, a top line right back secured, and then all the while you're trying to flog Sanchez, and hopefully then you sell Sanchez, you have a top line center back and a top line right back, and then you can add Bale, and then I think you have the perfect mix to go and compete next year.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's agreeable, but then the thing is that, you talk about injuries, you don't know when when they're going to happen. So I don't want injuries coming into those crunch matches. So that's what I fear. And secondly, United have already had a couple of shit signings. I mean, we've spent a lot on it. So if there's always a chance, if Bale doesn't deliver, it's another waste of 60 million going down the drain, for which we could at least sign a promising youngster from one of the top leagues in Europe. So there's always critics coming at you, and Ed Woodward right now can't make mistakes. I mean, he luckily, I mean, I don't know, but the footballing gods helped him sign Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he's really lucky with it because he's failed at, he's failed signing Moyes, Van Gaal, and then Jose Mourinho. So he definitely, there was Poch waiting in the pipeline, but then by God's grace, he got lucky that Ole turned out to be well. And now that he's going to carry on with that momentum, I think that he's not going to risk it. That's what I feel.
I completely get what you mean.
Edward was trying to save his image. For him, that's what's more important, right?
The Rant Boys Podcast.
Van Persie arriving. Oh, what a goal! What a goal by Robin Van Persie! Fantastic lead.
To go.
It's
time to go.
Don't interrupt me.
I will interrupt.
Don't interrupt me.
I will interrupt because
You've got a sore
it's
voice.
time to go.
Don't interrupt. Look, you can't even speak.
Time to go.
You can't even speak. So don't interrupt
And
me.
even when I can't speak, I speak more sense than you fucking ever do.
What are you swearing for? What are you swearing for?
It's time to go.
What are you swearing for?
Get it
What are you
out
swearing
of
for?
your fucking head.
I think even Pochettino's more passionate about Arsenal than Gronkia.
Like he's not owning, he's just sitting on his ass and waiting for the money to drip. Hi and welcome to another episode of the Rant Boys podcast. We've had the second half of the week last week off due to some scheduling conflicts and some technical difficulties. The podcast did arrive a bit late last week, but we've sorted all of that, and we have some more interesting content coming in the pipeline as well. We're planning some live shows, so stay tuned for that. But starting off this week with me...
About my who? About my what?
About my gang. As always, my co-host Tony.
So what should I call you? Should I call you Bullet, Tooth? You can call me Susan if it makes you happy. Tony.
Hi there.
And Ash from Chennai, India, the disappointed Man United fan.
Number 1 player Cynthia और हमारे जोशीले player Ash के बीच.
We should have won that match. Lukaku, I actually had a testimony written for you. You fucking wasted it, mate.
This is a happy Tony this week.
Oh, it's definitely not for me.
On that point, Tony, kick us off.
Well, we'll start off with the big game of the weekend. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0. Xhaka with a long-range goal, and Aubameyang actually scoring a penalty this week. What's your thoughts on this, Uber, as a fellow Gooner?
Oh, what a day. What a game. Oh, man. I could not be more thrilled with our tactical setup, with Emery's decision-making in that game, with our game management. Again, we got lucky, but still, you have to win the game. You have to be tactically set up to take care of your opportunities when they arise, and I think we did that. I think Manchester United did that in midweek against PSG. I think they got lucky with PSG missing their chances, and we got lucky at the weekend, but we were there to take our chances, and I think we played reasonably well. I think we weren't outplayed by Manchester United completely. I think they had better chances than us, but fortunately for us, those chances fell to Lukaku. So, Ash, you were right about Lukaku. After being wrong for, I would say, 2 weeks, Lukaku reverts back to being Lukaku. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually wrote an apology letter to Lukaku, but then I just tore it in the last minute. Especially where he squandered the first one. That should have been put away. It was point blank range. Leno was helpless. Off the bar, Lukaku does it again. And that's when I feared that we're going to lose it. That's the first sign of Lukaku crumbling under pressure. And then he's going to have all these critics coming into his mind saying that he's an elephant, saying that he's Timberland, he's useless. And then it happens again. And then again, and then I'm done. I gave up. So, yeah, we should have won it. We should have sealed the match, but then we let Arsenal grow stronger. And as the game progressed, there was always a chance of Arsenal getting a penalty or somewhere sneaking a goal. And once they put the second one, it was done. Kudos to Arsenal for taking the chances. And, Lukaku, you better.
Do you think United can still get in the top 4?
Hopefully. The thing is that we qualified for the Champions League, and so we're going to get, if we get Porto, I'm going to be more disappointed. I'd rather have City, the Barcelonas, because the longer this tournament goes, the more chances that we're going to get injured, like the best players get injured. So we're actually the FA Cup, there's the UEFA Champions League, and then the Premier League. So
yeah.
as much as I would love United to be in those competitions, there's another part of me saying the top four is more important. And right now, at the moment, to get our prime targets in the summer, we need something to to show the. We need a good project to show them. Yeah. So of course, top four is of prime importance over Champions League and FA Cup.
Yeah. Can I just say I am over the moon. I didn't. This is my point I made to people. Yeah, I predicted us to lose. I genuinely thought we were going to lose. And these are the moments where I love to be proven wrong. I am so happy I got proven wrong. Emery's team selection was spot on this week. Maybe the only thing I could call out on is I'd have loved to see Denis Suarez start. But in the major things, I think Emery was spot on. The team played well. Leno was absolutely brilliant. Leno was a rock in that goal. Like, Lukaku would have got a goal if it went for Leno. Like, Leno made some good saves. Like, honestly, I'm over the moon. I cannot stress that enough. But my message to fellow Gooners and most importantly the team is: yes, we've got no more games left against the Big Six. But we can't get complacent, because if we get complacent and think, right, we've got easy games left, it will collapse. We cannot get complacent. Wolves away is going to be tough. Everton away, I know Everton haven't had the best of seasons, but Goodison's still a tough place to go to. Watford away as well.
Leicester
at the Emirates. Leicester away.
And you got Barcelona.
So we, of course, celebrate. So we beat United, and United are on form. So to beat an informed Man United, that is something to be proud of. But we cannot get carried away until we're mathematically guaranteed the top four. I'm not going to get too carried away yet.
Listen, gassed up Arsenal fans would tell you Bernd Leno did yesterday what Gigi Buffon could not do, which is. I'm sorry, but Lukaku scored rounding Gianluigi Buffon. Lukaku tried to score the same exact way against Leno. He got denied.
But that's what age. I'm not Buffon is 42 this year. Let's be real.
I know.
All right, let's put some respect on that man, huh?
Yeah. Listen, I'm saying gassed up Arsenal fans. I'm not saying that's my opinion. I'm just telling you
of course.
that Bernd Leno, for all of the sort of under the radar stuff and all of the minor criticism that people had of Bernd Leno, was saying, oh, he's not coming out for crosses well. Oh, he's fumbled the ball a couple of times. And Claude earlier in the season calling him a shaky goalkeeper. I'm like, are you mad?
That's the thing, though. He's not just this game, but previous games. Leno has proven the doubters wrong. Like, he has made some very, very important saves that he hasn't got half the credit that he deserves.
I love when people said he's Germany's third choice keeper. I'm like, what do you expect when they have Neuer and Ter Stegen? Ter Stegen's a top 3 keeper in the world. He can't get into the team because they have Manuel Neuer.
But that shows the quality of the German grassroots system, that you have to be an exceptional player or goalkeeper to be their number one, because even world class sometimes isn't good enough in the German. Because they've got so much choice.
And that to me,
I genuinely think Leno is the next best keeper that you have after Lehmann. I mean, he could be, like, in another 2 years if he stays in the club.
Yeah.
He could turn out to be a good signing. Like, turn out to be a great keeper inside, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, those are quality saves that he did, though.
Yeah. I think he's a complete keeper. I think people, because I've watched him so long at Leverkusen, I love when people said, oh, he wasn't that good at shot stopping. I'm like, what are you talking about? He saved Leverkusen a billion times. He was a top keeper in the German league. He's a complete goalkeeper. He's brilliant with his feet. He's a good shot stopper. I'm like, of course, if you're expecting someone to be David De Gea and be completely unhuman, it's unrealistic. But for the choice of keeper we could have gotten, I think
for me,
yeah.
I'd say Leno is currently, for me personally, I'd say he's the third best keeper in the country, only behind De Gea and Alisson for me.
Yeah. At the moment, I'd agree. I thought Edison is doing poor.
Edison's overrated in my books, to be honest.
All right, so if your keeper actually gets you more than 8 points in the season, he's actually a really good keeper. So I can say for a fact that Leno, I mean, if not 3, got at least 2 points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a draw. So you got to give it to him. So he's earned you 2 points.
Yeah.
That's something phenomenal for any keeper.
Yeah.
For any keeper actually, start off the league.
Yeah, and I think,
and mind you, this is first season.
Yeah.
Now, what would put the icing on the cake now? I would rather both Arsenal and United get top 4 and Tottenham be pushed out.
But before we move on to that, I just like to point out quickly. I read an interview recently. I think it was about a month ago, where Bernd Leno said he was asked about the Premier League and the style of play, and he said that it did take him a bit of time to adjust to the crossing and how the game is refereed in terms of goalkeepers. So when you come up for a cross in the Premier League, not every referee is necessarily going to give you the advantage over the striker if the striker is in position. So he said he needed to learn how to be more commanding in contact and coming out. That he said that if he gets to the ball first and if he goes in strong, it's more likely that the referee is going to give him a foul when there's a foul by the striker. And he said he needed to learn that, and he needed to adjust to attacking the crosses better and more aggressively than he did in Germany.
Yeah. So my question to Ash is though, this result, obviously Solskjaer's first loss in the Premier League. Do you think what impact do you reckon this will have on the remaining games of your season, Ash?
No, I don't think, of course we're going to have some vacuums in every fan base. They're going to come overreact, saying that, it was Arsenal, he could have done it. It's a waste of time that his tactics were wrong and stuff. I thought, he played out well, but then it was just us players not taking the chances. Yeah. And generally, I thought the team did play well. So, of course, having a first loss, of course, the team's going to feel gutted, especially after the 2. Especially after the miracle that we pulled against PSG. But then I'd say we had the same kind of mentality when we lost against PSG, and then we did turn up for the next match. So for now, the thing that he's going to use is that we've actually clawed back to come in contention for the top four race from out of nowhere. So the boys are definitely going to have that in their mind, and they're going to keep moving on because we have to take every game as it comes, and the games are going to come thick and fast. So there's no point of thinking about the previous game. Yeah, let it happen, and it's just one of those games where there's going to be nothing coming in your way, and then when you don't make easy chances, you're going to get paid heavy.
Joining us now, mid-pod, Dan.
Put on the same sheet, man. Chill out. The mid's right. I'm not a Mick. I'm bloody Welsh. Whatever.
And Sanj.
Liverpool! Liverpool! Come on! Shackles.
Guys, welcome. Anyway, Dan, Manchester United lose their first game under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the Premier League. Arsenal win 2-0. What was your feeling on the game?
I thought, I didn't think we played badly. Like, I'm going to get out there. But I think Arsenal were better than us. Like, you were just on top of your game. Like, we could not get past your defence, and that's rare for Arsenal. So, and when we did, like, we kind of wasted our chances, but we didn't get too many chances. We should have taken the ones we got.
Yeah, I thought we actually got pretty lucky. But then again, same thing happened with you guys against PSG. It was just the other team wasting the chances that fell to them. And fortunately for us, your chances fell to Lukaku, and Ole's black magic seemed to run out, and Lukaku wasted 3 pretty good chances. So I did think that we could have defended a bit better, but again, it was a brilliant cross by Shaw, and Lukaku just scuffs that half volley. So then, are you blaming Ole maybe for leaving the midfield a bit slow with Matic in there and possibly not playing McTominay or Herrera?
No, not really, because like I can't really blame Ole because I mean he made a mistake and like he's gonna learn from that. But like I'm kind of glad he's made the mistakes to learn from it. That I don't know. I think Matic he's been good under Ole, so we couldn't really predict that Matic was gonna be slow and well we know he's slow, but we couldn't predict that he's gonna have an off game and stuff. So I think Ole put a good lineup out. However, as much as it was a good lineup, I would have kept it pretty much the same as he did against PSG. There's too many changes for me.
Yeah, Sanj, as a neutral, what was your take on the game?
It was Arsenal doing what Arsenal do. Really, they turn up at home. They were fighting for the ball. All the second balls they were winning. United didn't seem to be able to cope with it. It was looked as if they had a bit of a hangover. Formation looked a bit weird from United with Pogba playing out on the left wing at the start. Maybe I agree with Dan a little bit with too many changes from Ole, but Arsenal they delivered when they need to. And it's the same cliche we say to Arsenal. We know you can put that performance in, but you don't do it week in, week out, and that's what costs you in the end. Like if you don't get top 4, it's because you inconsistent against the lesser teams and you might underestimate them when you play them.
I don't really have that feeling under Emery that we necessarily underestimate anyone. It's just that I think it's still and it's showing up more now that the culture has shifted in terms of how our players approach games, but earlier on in the season, there was still a bit of that comfort level, when we play lesser sides that was left there from sort of the last decade of Wenger, where it was like, okay, just go out there and this sort of our skill, our ability will take care of it. It was like, we're better than these guys. Let's just go out there and it'll take care of itself. While with Emery, I kind of feel like he's trying to crack the whip on them. It's like we got to be intense every single game, but players obviously lapse back into old habits, and it happens, But I feel like there's been a culture shift in especially how we approach the big games. I think we are a lot more solid. I think we're a lot more cautious, and especially against United, it showed. And I gotta ask Dan, were you disappointed perhaps with the performance of Victor Lindelof?
I mean, I've praised Lindelof all season now, even under Mourinho, and he had an off day coming. Like I'm disappointed. I've seen people hating on Lindelof and saying we need to drop Lindelof. If you're going to drop Lindelof for that performance, then you need to drop De Gea as well. It's like you can't judge a player on one game.
I was slightly disappointed with him just watching the game. I thought he wasn't really comfortable in this game. I think that he had a lot of confusing moments with Smalling because of Arsenal's movement up front, because Lacazette and Aubameyang kept changing sides, changing positions. Ozil was all over the place, and Matic with his cement boots didn't really help out, because like Ozil kept finding space and Matic was nowhere to be seen. And obviously, if perhaps our execution up front would have been a bit better, our runs would have been timed a bit better, I think we could have gotten a couple of goals in. Tony.
Well, that's something I gotta say. I think like communication-wise, I don't know if you can really, because I don't know if I can fault it, because the amount of times we caught you offside in that game.
That's the thing. I actually complained about that to Ash. I wanted Sanj's take on that because you obviously watched the game. I thought that by the end of the first half, we had like 4 or 5 dodgy offside calls against us that weren't like sort of at like midfield. We got called for offside 4 or 5 times. That was really marginal. That didn't understand why the assistant would flag for that, because none of them were leading to goal scoring opportunities, and then United sort of kept pinning us back. Do you think overall, Sanj, that the referees were kind of poor in that game?
Yeah, I believe they were quite poor for both teams, really. The one key, obviously, United fans will be blaming the penalty, whether it was or wasn't. In my opinion, I thought it was a penalty. It's quite soft, but Fred's being very clumsy there. He doesn't need to be. And then when the referee was poor on your side was when you had that counter-attack at the end of the second half, but the ref pulled it back because, was it Xhaka collided with, or was it Koscielny with Rashford?
Xhaka and Rashford.
Xhaka and Rashford.
Yeah.
And the referee stopped your counter-attack when you clearly wanted to play on. You didn't kick the ball out of play. So, yeah, it was a bit of a dodgy game from the referees.
I'd like to say, though, I think Sanj hit the nail on the head. Well, basically, what I was saying earlier, he basically said what I said earlier on the podcast, is that the fact that a lot of people get excited that we've got none of the top 6 left to play, we can't get complacent in these final 8 league games. We've got some tough fixtures. We've got Wolves away, we've got Watford away, we've got Leicester away. We have got tough games still, so we can't get carried away and assume that we're going to get top 4 now because we've got none of the top 6 to play.
Yeah,
because if we go in with that mentality, it's going to come back to bite us.
Yeah,
because who knows? You might play a Roby for the rest of the season.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Have you got to play Everton away as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's like a lot of the away. A lot of people in the top 10.
Yeah. Leicester, Everton, Wolves, Watford.
We definitely can't get comfortable because we're in pole position, but we gotta carry it out. It's the form has to continue, and that's our ticket into the top 4. It's basically now. I think now we've bought the ticket, but it's up to us to punch it now.
Yeah.
It's like
exactly.
It's like buying a ticket to a concert. Like, we have the ticket, now it's about showing up.
We've got to treat every game like a final.
Yep. It's. I think. Who was it on Sky? I think Graham Souness said that now it's 8 cup finals for us.
Yeah.
It's like
completely agree.
We gotta, if not win every game, like if we get a bit of bad luck, at least not lose.
The thing is, United have got the FA Cup to balance with now as well. Whereas us, after Rennes on Thursday, we're not playing until 1st of April because of the international break and the FA Cup break.
United have Champions
League. So we've got time to recover.
Yeah, United have Champions League and FA Cup. Dan, what's your confidence level on trying to compete on 3 fronts?
I don't know. I mean, having the Champions League added on top of this now is a huge shock. And I wasn't expecting it, but it's kind of a nice shock. Like, I don't really mind having more games because it just tests Ollie more. And I mean, we can compete. And I mean, I've just seen the fixtures then. We've got Cardiff last in this last game of the season. I mean, that's probably going to be a win. It's at Old Trafford as well. It's like, I reckon it's going to go down to the very last game of the season.
Yeah.
I've also just realised, looking at the Cardiff fixtures there, Cardiff are done for. I mean, it looks close now, but they've got Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool and Man United to play yet.
Now, hopefully Cardiff is still battling relegation and give Man City a shithouse game.
Neil Warnock, in full Neil Warnock fashion, just tells them...
If if Neil Warnock holds City to a draw that day, you get a statue outside Anfield.
I was going to say that.
Does in the description it say Sir Neil of Warnock, Brexit defender?
Wow. Although they did beat West Ham at the weekend.
Oh. They've got Burnley to play as well, so
yeah. They did gain 3 vital points against West Ham. So
they've got 4 of the top teams.
You say they got Chelsea?
They got Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and United.
They could get a draw against Chelsea. You never know of Chelsea this season.
Yeah. If you look at it, if it goes down right to the wire, you've got Man United in the last game. Solskjaer could get Cardiff relegated all over again.
that would be
wow. Do you know what though? I'd rather Southampton go down than Cardiff, purely for the fact I think if Cardiff stay up, it'd be a good tribute to Salah, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want Cardiff to stay up.
I really do.
I'm a Newport guy. So I don't like Cardiff, but I'd quite like to see them stay in the Prem.
Yeah. We know what Joe wants Southampton to go down anyway. So
yeah,
Pompey fan.
I don't feel like Southampton are going down. I think they've really picked up form recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so have Cardiff-ish. I mean,
yeah, it's true. It's true.
What didn't they lose? What's his name?
Sol
They
Bamba.
lost that one of them.
Sol Bamba.
And I think he's their top goal scorer, a defender or something as well.
Yeah, center back. Sol Bamba. Is this not the most Neil Warnock thing of all time? The top scorer for Cardiff this season is a central defender.
Wow.
Yeah. Probably the most. Yeah, it's probably the most Neil Warnock thing ever.
If Big Sam could do that, he would. That's like,
yeah.
Big Sam goes to sleep dreaming about Winston Reid scoring 12 goals for West Ham.
Who knows though? Because if our next Premier League game is Newcastle at Emirates, which we should win of our record at home and Newcastle's poor record away. Yeah. So that could drag Newcastle further closer to the drop.
Nah, Newcastle aren't going down. They got good play. They got their goal scorer in the transfer window.
Mm.
Yeah. So. On the point of us having to play some top teams, like United still have Watford at home, Wolves away, West Ham at home, Everton away. Then you have City home, Chelsea at home, and then the final 2 games of the season are Huddersfield and Cardiff. But you basically play the entire. So from this game till Huddersfield. Second to last week of the season, you basically played the entire top half.
Is this United's fixtures?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they basically played the entire...
Chelsea is an easy 3 points. Let's get that clear. I'm joking. I'm not gonna say that. That's gonna come back and bite me because I said the same about Arsenal. But you know.
But your Huddersfield match. By the time you say United got Huddersfield in the second to last fixture.
And then Cardiff last.
By that time, surely Huddersfield have already been guaranteed mathematically relegation.
Yeah, they are.
So they would probably go into the game with the attitude of we've got nothing to lose, let's go for it.
Yeah, probably.
But United should still win that game, of course.
The thing is, Cardiff could be in that position as well.
Yeah.
I think the relegation battle. I think Fulham, and by the time the second to last game comes. I think Huddersfield and potentially Fulham will be down, confirmed. I think that final relegation spot will go down to the last game of the season. Possibly.
I mean, Cardiff have Fulham and Burnley to play yet as well, so they could drag Burnley into relegation. But it's whether they get a win out.
Burnley go from imagine that Burnley go from Europa League one season to the Championship the next. Wow.
Yep.
But see, my thing with the math that Man United fans are doing. They're saying that we still have tough games to play, but you basically play all of the same teams that we play.
Yeah, but they've got the Manchester derby.
Yeah. But I'm saying they play the entire top half of the Premier League, plus Huddersfield and Cardiff. We, on the other hand, have just the non-top 6 teams. They still have City.
The hardest game for us left is Wolves away, in my opinion.
But they play Wolves away a week after us.
Yeah,
I think we could still get top 4. I think it's down to United and Tottenham now, though.
Yeah.
I think you have pretty much secured top 4 with
I wouldn't speak too soon. It's looking good in our favour, but I'm not getting carried away.
Me neither. This is
Tottenham have Chelsea and
Tottenham have City and Liverpool.
City and Liverpool.
Oh yeah.
City and Liverpool away. But my thing with Arsenal then, and we all know this is Arsenal, and Sanj, I think you'll find this funny. This is Arsenal. There's bound to be another injury from now till the end of the season. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Like, if there is a club where there's bound to be an injury at the most inopportune time, it's Arsenal. So I'm preparing myself.
I don't know, man. Have you seen Man United injuries over the last month?
I know, but with us, it's kind of like it's this running theme to Arsenal that whenever we get good, whenever there's finally something, where it's
the thing is though. The thing is, I never like to use injuries as an excuse because every team's got their own disadvantages and advantages.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
something going against them. Except for City, you've got so much depth in their squad.
Yeah,
but it depends. It depends what type of injuries, Tony. Because if say Lacazette got injured, then you just have Aubameyang because Welbeck's out.
Yeah.
Like that will kill you.
Yeah, but listen, if like Socrates gets injured, we're fucked.
Yeah. But the same could be said if David De Gea gets injured, United are screwed.
They still have Romero. Romero's decent.
He won't save you points like De Gea will.
He wouldn't, but he won't let in cheap goals either.
I generally think United's defence is better than Arsenal's.
I agree.
Well, it is.
So even if we played Romero...
Apart from Socrates, your defense is better than ours.
Yeah. There's like every single person apart from Socrates. To me, Socrates and Lindelof are on par in terms of quality.
I still say Smalling, but that's controversial.
Socrates is better than Smalling.
Yeah, of course he's better, but Smalling for me is a highly underrated centre back.
Yeah, but I think like Lindelof.
Hey, preach it, Tony. Preach it.
I think
honestly, I'll give credit where it's due. I've always been an admirer of Chris Smalling.
See, I think Chris Smalling is like a top 4 starter, and he's a rotational center back on a title challenger. I think Lindelof. I think Lindelof and Socrates are the second center back of a title winning pairing. So if you get like a Koulibaly or a Van Dijk, that's your number 1 guy, and then Socrates and Lindelof can do a job next to him.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I don't think Smalling... I rate Smalling. Smalling's probably my second best defender at United now.
Well, my sources are telling me... My sources are telling me Lindelof and Koulibaly will be playing together next season.
That's interesting.
I'd like to ask Uber, do you see any way how we will finish outside the top 4?
Oh, no. Again, I've
got to ask these tough questions. I've got to ask them.
I know. I would like to say...
Come on, you got to say no.
I would like to say no way. But this is Arsenal, and we do have a particular history, Ash, of having injuries at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
And then there's this Arsenal factor, like, in a negative way. You always have this... you're always shaky when it comes to the mid-table teams, especially when you have Wolves and Leicester on.
That's what Man United fans put their hat on. But under Unai Emery, we are not shaky against mid-table teams. We are not. Fact. Like that. That's fact. Under Emery, we beat who we are supposed to beat.
Well,
but generally,
I mean,
you're always listen.
I think the Wolves one is definitely going to be a tough one. I think I can see you lose couple of points there. The Wolves one.
But
This is why I'm not This is why I'm not getting carried away, because we've gained strong points. So we drew against Liverpool at Emirates. We beat Chelsea. We beat Tottenham. We drew against Tottenham. We beat United. We drew against United. So we've taken important points that I didn't think we stood a chance in. But at the same time, we can't get complacent because we've dropped silly points, losing to West Ham, drawing to Palace, losing to Brighton.
Actually, I mean, it'll be easy to predict once you play your second leg against Rennes. I mean, if you can come back in that, if you lose in that, and I can definitely see you losing points against Wolves and then some other team.
Yeah, like on our next Premier League game is Newcastle at Emirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one too. They're going to just park the bunker, and Newcastle are coming after 3-2 comeback, right? Yeah. From a 2-0 one. So that's going to be a really tough game.
Newcastle,
I mean, you're going to have a hard time, opening up Newcastle.
We'll look ahead to that when we have to cross that bridge. But again, Newcastle play a lot better at home than they do away from home. So I think the positive thing is we got Newcastle rid of, because we lost there last year, and seemingly in the second half of the season, Newcastle under Rafa become very, very good at home. So I think it's positive for us that it's at the Emirates. So I think that's the type of game that I'm confident that we're gonna win. With Arsenal, I don't think there's a lot of people, especially United fans, like to hang their hat on this supposed Arsenal factor. I haven't seen it under Unai Emery. I know exactly what you mean, Ash. I haven't seen that type of performance under Unai Emery. When we would do badly under Emery, it's either because we've had some key injuries and we've put out a sort of a makeshift team, and that to me is a bigger factor with us. I think if we can stay injury free, we're definitely making top four. If we have another injury like Lacazette or an Aubameyang or a Ramsey or a Xhaka, or
do you see any realistic way that both Arsenal and United can both get top four at the expense of Tottenham? Do you see that as a real possibility?
Oh yes, and we're about to get into that because moving on to that game, Spurs losing 2-1 to Southampton. Tony, what did you make of the performance by Spurs?
It's just typical of them. It's typical. Like they look when. Where do I even begin? It's just so funny. I'm sorry, it's funny. I don't care if any Tottenham fans are hurt by me saying that. I get so much pleasure out of watching Tottenham bottle it as usual. Like when everything's gone in their favour, they always crumble. Like this is why they're not a big team. This is why their club is allergic to trophies. Their club is allergic. It's like the materials on trophies. Anyone associated with Tottenham is allergic to that material. It's like they're just bottle jobs. Like they got all carried away at the end of last year, calendar year, when they were above Man City on goal difference when when Tottenham beat Bournemouth. I think at Wembley, was it 5-0, 5-1?
No, something like that.
They got all carried away. Oh yeah, we're second now. We're above City on goal difference. And I knew that I've had debates with people on the forums about this weeks and months ago about it, and I was like, they were like Tottenham's in the title race. I was like, no, they're not. I was like, they'll bottle it again, and they were like, you're only discrediting them because you're an Arsenal fan. I was like, time will tell. I was like, they will bottle it, and I was proven right. They bottled it again.
They always do it. But Ash, you're someone who comes at this from a different perspective because you still think Tottenham can and probably will make top four, don't you?
Yeah, I still believe that they can. It's not because of Tottenham's ability, but then it's because of the fixtures that United are going to have. And so that's the main reason. And Tottenham, I feel, will somehow get lucky and get into the top four.
So you think?
It's not at the expense of
So you think that the jamminess of Spurs will overcome the bottling of Spurs?
Yeah. And then it's going to be assisted with United's trip away in Europe, and they're going to have a couple of injuries. Like if you have to be really skeptical about it, there are more chance of injuries likely to happen. So that's what I feel. It's not because of Spurs got the ability to resurrect again and then stay afloat. It's not.
Do you see any way of Chelsea getting in the top 3 or top 4?
Chances are slim at the moment because after Wolves, I'm not sure how they're going to be mentally prepared for the next.
Yeah.
But then, But then if Chelsea start getting up steam, then they're actually in for a top 5.
So, in your opinion, you're saying you see Tottenham keeping the top 4 at the expense of United. Who do you see finishing higher at the end of the season, Arsenal or Tottenham then?
I think Arsenal, definitely.
You think we'll finish 3rd?
Yeah, of course, because Tottenham are going to go away to some European side.
Yeah.
And they're going to have that, they're going to have that pressure seeping into the Premier League, and they're going to, carry it with them, and then they're going to lose to some mediocre team again. But Arsenal, would somehow, be thereabouts, and then once the time is right, Tottenham are definitely going to lose the next week. So Arsenal are going to have the lead anyway, and then I'm not sure how Tottenham are going to keep up with you guys.
Yeah,
the problem with United is when you take a look at our fixtures, there's a match against City on 25th, and then there's a match against Chelsea at home on 28th. And then we're definitely having a Champions League fixture in that week. So
because Tottenham still have to face Liverpool as well.
Yeah, Liverpool and City away.
Yeah, so it's brilliant. It's worked out in our favour. Somehow we've turned this disaster of a season around in our favour. Somehow.
Disaster. Okay, I need to get onto this. Like, how do you think that it was ever a disaster of a season? Because you just get so emotional, Tony, about Arsenal sometimes that you get clouded that it's like been half a season and we're in 6th. We're in touching distance of the top 4. You said at the start of the season, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. Did you not say at the start of this season we will finish 6th by a mile, to quote you?
Yes, I did. I did say that.
Say sorry.
Yes, apologize to Unai Emery.
Mr. Unai Emery, I apologise that I thought we was going to finish 6th. I thank you for getting us into this position. If we finish above Tottenham and get in 3rd place or even 4th place, I will worship you.
Where's my apology? Where's my apology? You didn't beat us at London Derby, and I'm telling you, we're still gonna finish top 4. We're still gonna finish above you. You Arsenal cunt. You're not gonna finish above us. There's no St. Tottenham's this year. None of it. I'm having none of it. Pochettino got his tactics completely wrong in the second half. I know he was suspended, but I saw him. I was at a game. I saw him phoning in his assistant at the bench. I saw him phoning his tactics in, and he got it completely wrong. He fucked it.
Spencer.
Fucked it. What?
Spencer.
What?
Guess what?
What?
It's happened again.
Shut up!
It's happened again.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. And
it's happened again.
And James Ward-Prowse. How dare he? How dare he? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This guy has gone from being being B-Tech Scott Parker, and he's somehow turned into David fucking Beckham. And of course, he becomes David Beckham when they play Tottenham. I can't believe it. And Jan Valery,
it's because your club's crap.
Oh me, come on. Jan Valery went from being the shittiest, the shittiest absolute fucking French fullback that I've ever seen. He's somehow turned into Cafu, and he's scoring screamers. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, of course. It has to happen to Tottenham.
Spencer, I have a question for you. Spencer.
Yeah.
How the hell are you getting access to this podcast?
I'm on here, mate. Listen, I get special privileges. Yeah, you get special privileges.
I I guess as a Tottenham fan, you need at least one privilege in your life, don't you?
Fuck off!
He's actually asking me to vouch for them. And he's threatening me right now.
Yeah, I'm holding a gun to Ash's head. Yeah, I mean, that's not cool, Spence. Hey, fuck off! Listen, Spence, you gotta chill it. You gotta chill it? What, you gonna tell me, huh? You jammy Arsenal cunts, yeah? You got away against Manchester United. You're not getting away with it again.
Spencer?
What?
49-49 undefeated.
Hey, fuck off. We're still finishing above you. Come on, you Spurs! I can't believe this.
What is wrong with that guy?
Deluded.
How is this guy getting onto our pod? Like, is he hacking the... Oh my god, is he hacking the server?
I think he is. I think it's literally he's using some of those server raiding tactics, like he's hacking the chat and stuff.
What's his name? Andres?
Yeah.
Oh. Hang on, he's messaging me and then he's calling me for. Yeah.
I think Spencer and Andres are working together.
Me too.
There's definitely conspiracy there.
Absolutely.
But moving on from one bottle job to another, Chelsea won, Wolves won. What's your thoughts on this, Uber?
Well, Chelsea played a lot better than Tottenham did. Tottenham, Southampton, it was an even game, and I think Southampton definitely deserved to get something out of the game, and in the end, they did get a bit lucky with the Valerie goal and Ward-Prowse's brilliant free kick.
It was not lucky. No, it was not lucky. It was well played. Southampton actually, they're forward a lot more than Tottenham, so they deserve a goal somewhere.
And Chelsea nearly lost that game as well. Hazard scoring in injury time.
Yeah.
So Chelsea were lucky to get a point there.
But again, Chelsea did dominate, Tony. So Wolves, I think, had one shot on goal. It was a completely dominant performance from Chelsea, and again, they looked a bit flat. I didn't even see Wolves go past the center circle for most of that game. Sorry ball, the way I've seen it at Napoli, was in full effect. And it's just incredible how they managed to be flat while having that much possession and that much chances and come out with a point and having to rescue that point, like you said, with a Hazard screamer from a corner at the end. It's I know that Wolves scored pretty much early in the second half, but this is unbelievable. Chelsea had 76% possession, 22 shots, 6 on target. They had 14 shots that were blocked. And this is incredible. 13 corners, 0 corners to Wolves. So 13-0 in corners. And Wolves had 2 shots, 1 of them on target.
Yeah. And let's not forget, Chelsea are now only 3 behind us with a game in hand against Brighton. But we have got superior goal difference as well. We have by 8 goals, I believe. I think they're plus 16 on goal difference. We're plus 24.
Yeah. I think that's another thing that we have to credit Emery with. We've scored a ton of goals this season.
Yeah. It helps with the 5-1 against Bournemouth.
Yeah. A lot of people say that our football hasn't been as attractive. I disagree. We've scored a ton of goals and a ton of great goals this season. Yeah. So what surprised me in this Wolves game was it's not necessarily how powerless Wolves were, but I was surprised that Chelsea could keep them that boxed in sort of in their half, and the Wolves went so defensive. But again, they got a draw. It just feels as if that Chelsea, even with Higuain, is just flat. They're just blunt.
Chelsea don't have no luck with strikers, do they?
It's unbelievable. I think that Higuain had a couple of good chances in that game, and it just they just don't look like a team that seems to be capable of being threatening, being cutting edge. And again, this is I don't know. I reckon you don't watch much of Serie A, but
I watch bits and pieces.
I know, but I'm saying this is what Sarri ball is supposed to be when you're playing a lower team. I'm saying you don't watch much of, like, you didn't watch Napoli say play last season.
No, not much.
They like Napoli against Bologna. Like, you wouldn't watch that. So I would catch Napoli last season playing these types of games because they legitimately played incredible football. And this is what it's kind of supposed to be. 75% possession, quick one-touch passes, move the ball, score 3 or 4 goals. The problem with Chelsea is they do all of the Sarri ball things, but it doesn't work because it's just, I think that the pace of the team and some of their players like to touch the ball too much. And in particular, I think Hazard can be blamed of that sometimes, but especially it's when someone like Willian comes in. He likes to make runs on his own. He likes to go one-on-one with defenders. And the point of Sarri ball is to get a fullback isolated with a guy like Hazard or Willian and then create a mismatch and then create an overload. And then cross the ball for someone or cut the ball back and someone's open for a shot. That's the idea. But the problem is you're never going to get those one-on-ones, those isolated incidents when you have Hazard and Willian repeatedly cut inside with the ball, take 3 or 4 unnecessary touches just to pass it back to Kovacic or Jorginho. And then the ball circles back around and then they do that move again. And then
do you see Chelsea still in this top 4 race?
It's hard to say because they do have that game in hand against Brighton, and they'll probably win that. And if they win that, they are level of points with us. Again, we have a better goal difference than them by a lot, but still, they'd be level on points with us. They'd be 2 points ahead of Man United, and they'll be a point away from Tottenham.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Again, the Brighton game is still to be arranged, but Chelsea are still in this. But I just, out of all the 4 teams that are racing for 2 spots now, it's, to me, Chelsea seem the shakiest. I mean,
I agree.
Spurs are super shaky right now. But Chelsea are just... With Chelsea, you're convinced that there's going to be a dud.
Yeah.
With Arsenal,
I personally see Man United and Arsenal getting top 4. To be honest,
me too. But it's more about how Chelsea are sort of capable of having a dud like they had against Wolves. They are the team most capable of having a bunch of possession, a bunch of chances, and not doing anything with it.
Yeah.
And with Arsenal and United in particular, and with Tottenham when Kane is healthy, I think it's, if chances fall, you'd reckon that the strikers on all 3 of those teams will put them away.
Yeah, you'd expect so.
Yeah.
Speaking of strikers, though, moving on, Liverpool 4, Burnley 2. What was your thoughts on that game from yesterday?
I think Liverpool were back in sort of their Liverpudlian form. I think this is the team you expect when you look at Liverpool, and when you think about this team, this is what you expect.
Yeah.
They go 1-0 down to Burnley on a fluke goal. Burnley close up. They do the Sean Dyche. We gotta defend properly. We gotta make clearances. Hit the ball in the channels. Chase it down. Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood. They're gonna go up. They're gonna press. And he barks and he does his entire thing with a hoarse voice and all of that. And obviously it didn't work because Liverpool turned back the clock to the second half of last season and they absolutely blew them to bits. On that point, Sanj, you guys are back in form after coming back against Burnley. What were your thoughts on the game?
I thought it was a professional performance. I didn't think it was brilliant because I thought a lot of our goals were very fluky. I'm trying to think of the first. Well, they scored first, and then our equalising goal was a mistake from Heaton. Like the ball squeezed through his hands, and Firmino tapped into an empty net. The goal to make it 2-1 was I've already forgotten how we've scored the goals.
which one was it? Lallana, like he made a crucial kind of.
Oh yes, that was the one. That was the second goal. He made a crucial tackle, Lallana.
Lallana done something good for once. He made himself useful for once.
He's decent.
I know he isn't.
He is. I'll give you Henderson being crap. I'll give you that. But
Henderson and Lallana are so overrated. It is unbelievable.
I don't know about that. But anyway, yeah, Lallana did his tackle. It fouled to Salah. Salah just wasn't having that game because he had all those chances, but yet he'd get tackled last minute and it fouled to Mane to tackle. And good finish from Mane, straight in the side netting, no chance for the keeper. And then the third goal was just a Tom Heaton, gave it straight to Mane. Straight to Salah, sorry, and he dribbled through, got tackled again, but it fouled to Firmino to tap into an empty net.
To me, you saw the importance of Roberto Firmino in this game because he went back to full sort of Firmino false nine form where he just drops deep, picks up the ball in front of the back four and just sprays it around and does little 1-2 combinations, little flicks, little dump offs to Salah and Mane to runners coming into space, and Liverpool executed it perfectly.
Do you still see City winning this title?
Again, they did win against Watford, and we'll get to that. But I think that I've always been, as you know, Tony, I've always been someone who claimed that Liverpool have a brilliant chance at this title, and I've always been someone who claimed that Jurgen Klopp will see this through because I've seen Klopp do this with Dortmund, and I've seen Klopp be pressured by Jupp Heynckes' Bayern, of all people, and Klopp and Dortmund come through. So I've seen him against top teams win the league title. So I don't think that Liverpool are going to bottle it. If City end up winning, it's not going to be because Liverpool crumbled. Because Liverpool have had a blip recently where they had all of these draws and they've had poor offensive performances, and it was partly because I think they were a little bit tired because I don't think they rotated enough in that hard winter period in the winter schedule in January and when the games come thick and fast. And now their injuries are sort of clearing up. They're going back to sort of their best team, and Firmino's back to 100% health finally. Lovren's coming back. Keita's healthy. Henderson's healthy. Trent Alexander-Arnold, which is a crucial player for them to have Robertson and Alexander-Arnold healthy. They're coming back to full fitness, full form. So I really don't see Liverpool giving this away.
But while Liverpool continue to win, so is City, with City beating Watford 3-1 and Raheem Sterling getting a hat-trick. What was your thoughts on that?
My thought on that is, and I've said it on Twitter, I've said it on the UFF Discord, I think Sterling should win PFA Player of the Year. I think he should win Player of the Year because he's been the most informed player this season. He's been absolutely brilliant for 2 seasons now. He has, from the start of last season, I think 54 goal contributions in total. That is world class elite forward type stats. That's insane.
See, I'd say he's been the most informed outfield player. For me, if I was to give Player of the Year, it'd be De Gea. Personally.
No, for me, no, because Do you know how many clean sheets David De Gea has this season?
But look at the defense he's got. The important saves, and he's like a wall in that goal. Like he's an important player.
I know. How many clean sheets does he have this season?
No, I agree. His clean sheet record ain't good, but look at the defense he's got. Let's be real.
He's got 7 clean sheets. He's got 7 clean sheets. I think. Who did I hear? Neil Etheridge from Cardiff has 8.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think De Gea has a claim to have PFA Footballer of the Year. I don't, because Man United are not going to win the title. It's either going to be City or Liverpool, and the best player this season is, in my opinion, Raheem Sterling, because I don't think anyone from Liverpool, except for Virgil van Dijk, has stood out. But then, for Liverpool, I'd split the credit between Van Dijk and Alisson, because Alisson has saved Liverpool on a number of occasions in big games. He came up with big saves. So, to me...
What about Aguero?
I think Sterling's been more important for them. When you look at it, when City were running off big results, when City were winning big games, who scored? Who was involved in pretty much every single goal?
Sterling.
Exactly. So I don't think you can doubt this guy, and I know a lot of people have criticism about him, and I think some of the stuff that gets said about him and some of the criticism is completely misplaced, misguided, and I think it's especially some critics that come off as a bit racist. I think it's disgusting. Because I know exactly what Sterling said when he had that post on social media and said that the treatment of players is unfair. I know exactly what he was aiming at, and it is. It's you wouldn't say some of this stuff about a white player. These journalists just wouldn't do that. And I think he's been covered a lot more fairly since he pointed that out. And I think with all the racial abuse he's received, and he seems to be somehow the most hated player on that City team, which I don't understand. Everywhere he goes, he gets whistled, he gets abused, he gets absolutely hammered, which I don't know why. And he still comes out, proves everyone wrong, and performs. So
that's a fair point. Yeah, it's just would you put overall, not just this season, overall, would you put Sterling in the world class category?
Over the last 2 years, yes.
Yeah.
But listen, when you look at, like I told you, goal involvement, I think he's up to 54 goal contributions since the start of last season.
Yeah.
He's played about...
They're impressive stats, very impressive stats.
And when you look at his impact in general, I think he's the best forward on that. Him and Aguero are sort of on par for me. When Aguero and Sterling play, I know City will score. When the rest of the front line plays, I'm not so sure. Like, I know they're all brilliant, but when Sterling and Aguero play, I'm confident of penciling in City for 2 or 3 goals.
So, before we move on further, I'd like to ask you one question. I want a definitive prediction, one-word answer from you.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win the league? Manchester City or Liverpool?
Liverpool.
Wow. See, I'd go the opposite. I think experience will prevail, personally. If you somehow win the league, Klopp's a genius. Because City, I can't see City being overtaken now. I know it's only a point, but I can't see City know now that they can't have any slip-ups now.
My only thing is, City got FA Cup weekend next week, where we can call them in the Premier League. So if we go above them, the pressure sort of shifts back to City, because their game in hand is Manchester United away, and that's going to be a massive game. That is.
But like I said, this City team's experienced in title. Yeah. So I think experience will prevail. But as a neutral, I'd rather Liverpool win the league for the nature of football.
Oh yeah, because
I think City will do it.
You know what the worst thing would be? Just about just about when City are about to get banned and thrown out of Europe for a long time, they imagine them winning the Premier League. Like Guardiola's swan song. Because I imagine Guardiola, if City get banned, I think he'll leave and I think he'll go to Juventus.
Yeah.
I don't see him sticking around for what? Why would he stick around?
Who if that scenario happens, who would realistically take over at City?
I mean, Zidane's gone back to bloody Real Madrid, so that's not an option.
I think I know.
Who?
I think now.
Allegri.
No, this is going to sound crazy, but I think Julian
no,
Lopetegui.
Roy Hodgson. I would say Roy Hodgson.
No, Julian Lopetegui.
Wow.
I think Lopetegui. You know why? Because obviously Chiki Begiristain would probably still remain because they're paying him a bucket load of money. The technical director, and he has ties to Lopetegui. So I imagine they would get Lopetegui in, who's sort of a developmental manager, and his task would be, hey, just keep us floating around and develop a bunch of our youngsters for when we can come back into Europe.
Or they might go for Joey Barton.
Joey Barton. Might as well get Big Sam in, so he keeps him up. Get Big Sam and Pardew both.
Or David Wagner.
But that wouldn't be a bad appointment actually, because a lot of the youngsters that came through at Dortmund in those sort of early to mid Klopp years were David Wagner's students, basically. Those were his guys. So at the youth team at Dortmund. So I think City will go for someone who's a good developer of youth because they still have that academy that's pumping out crazy talent. So even if they have to sell all the top players, they'll still have the academy kids and they'll still buy youngsters and they'll probably build the team for the next 3 or 4 seasons whenever they can come back into the Champions League. And then once their ban gets lifted, they'll likely spend 150 million in the transfer market again.
But the question is, if City can't win the Champions League under Guardiola, they'll never be able to win it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if this ban thing is real, and I think it is, if they don't win it this season, I think it's over for the next 5 years. Because if they get banned, they'll get banned at least for 2 or 3 years from Europe. That means no Champions League revenue, no European revenue at all. That means they only get the Premier League.
Will they get banned though? Will they get banned realistically?
Yeah, they will. They broke all 3 cardinal sins of UEFA and FIFA. So it's
but we know what these governing bodies are like. More money, less bribe to them.
Yeah, but you can't literally all of the reports that came out. You cannot get away from this. They might be able to delay the bans, but once the bans get imposed, with court cases and stuff, they might take this to courts and it might drag out for the next year. But once it gets confirmed, they're done. Because they broke third party ownership, they broke financial fair play, and they falsified financial reports. So it's 3 things that you can't do. They broke all 3.
Yeah.
There's no way. So on that point, Sanj, just give me a percentage chance to end this. Give me a percentage chance on your confidence on Liverpool winning the league.
Jeez, probably between 30 to 40%.
Fair enough.
Like,
I'm gonna go 20%.
If we're gonna win this league, do you remember how City pipped us in 2014 because we slipped up, and then they were on top of the league for the last 2 games of the season and they won it. I feel that's the only way we're going to win this league. We're not going to be at top and see it out. We're going to have to stay behind them, cross our fingers that maybe Man United beat them or maybe a Palace beat them. We quickly slip back up to the top, and then before City can react and get back on top, there's not enough games left. Like, there's 1 game left of the season, and if we win that game, we're champions. That's the only way we're winning this league this season.
Who do you play last game of the season?
We play Wolves at home.
Oh, fuck's sake.
It's a tough one, but I'm crossing my fingers that Wolves have nothing to play for and they play a few youngsters and they don't really care. I'm crossing my fingers.
Well, Wolves could still be battling out for 7th with Watford. I'd like to make one more point before we move on to the European leagues. When we sent, and it pains me to say this because of who he plays for, but another player for Player of the Year, could you say Heung-min Son?
Quite possibly, but again, I think I think that a lot of what comes down to with Player of the Year, your team has to do really, really well. And with how Spurs have performed recently, and with how much Son has disappeared since Kane seemingly came back, came back, he hasn't been scoring as much. Spurs don't rely on him as much, and he's been a bit quiet. I think he was in the running if Spurs had maintained their form and if they had sort of stayed around title challenging. I'm not sure. We've discussed this since we started the pod. I was never convinced they were in the title challenge.
Neither was I. Either. I agree. No, I didn't think they were.
But if they had stayed, let's say they finished the season within 10 points of the eventual winner, I think, and Son had carried through his form that he had throughout the winter period, I think he would be a legitimate candidate. But as of right now, I think it's a 2-horse race between Sterling and Van Dijk, and it depends on who wins the league.
Yeah. Well, after an interesting week in the Premier League, we move on to the European League. So, in Germany, Bayern, top of the league now on goal difference after a 6-0 thrashing, an absolute annihilation at home against Wolfsburg. What was your thoughts on this?
Oh, I mean, this is Bayern again proving the point I made a couple of weeks ago that they figured it out. They are absolutely flying. I think they won their last. Let me just check this to be correct. Their last loss came against Leverkusen on the 2nd of February. Since then, they won every single league game. They won the last 2 by a combined goal difference of 11-1.
Wow!
So
that is impressive.
5-1 away to Gladbach last week, and now 6-0 at home against Wolves.
Serge Gnabry opening the scoring as well.
Yeah, a big loss for us because he could have been a very, very good winger for us.
Yeah, he could have been basically what Reece Nelson could possibly be for us.
Yeah, and we could have had Nelson and Gnabry, but you know.
Yeah, but at the same time, Dortmund won as well, 3-1 against Stuttgart. So Dortmund are keeping the pressure on.
They're keeping the pressure on, but the way this Bayern team looks, the way they've figured it out. By the way, the last 2 teams they've played, Gladbach are now 4th. At the time when they played Bayern, they were 3rd. Wolfsburg, when they played Bayern, were 5th at the time. So they beat the 3rd place team and the 5th place team by a combined goal difference of 11-1 in the last 2 years.
That is impressive.
This Bayern team is
impressive.
Completely figured it out. By the way, the stats from this game: 60% possession for Bayern, 22 shots, 12 on target, 6 goals scored. Wolfsburg had only 4 shots and only 1 shot on target on 40% possession. The pressing of Bayern in this game was unbelievable. Again, James pressing. This is something I never thought I'd see. Niko Kovac got James
Rodriguez pressing. That is, that's something you don't see often, if not at all.
I mean, Muller was excellent. Lewandowski, excellent. Gnabry, excellent. James, great. Martinez and Alcantara seem to have formed a very good partnership in holding midfield. Kimmich, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, this Bayern team is very, very scary. They look as if they've basically closed the title down. I know Dortmund won 3-1 against Stuttgart. Stuttgart are not good.
They're down in 16th place. They're in trouble.
They're not a good team. Dortmund did dominate that game, but it took them a while, and they basically won the game in the second half. And basically, they weren't convincing. It took them until the 84th minute to actually win this game.
My question to you, Sanj, is with Bayern Munich back on top of the Bundesliga on goal difference, and after they just ripped apart Wolfsburg 6-0, are you scared for the second leg at Allianz?
Yeah, I am, because even if they hadn't, even if they're not on top of the league, or if they didn't win 6-0, I'd still be scared, because, like I said, the way they played at Anfield was they played for the 0-0.
Yeah, because they knew they were going to come out strong in the Allianz.
Exactly, yeah. The only attacking chances they had at Anfield was from our mistakes, where Keita or Fabinho gave the ball away and they tried to counter us. They didn't create their own chances.
Yeah.
I was like, at the Allianz, there's no way they play like that. They're going to try blitz us. They're going to try destroy us, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Champions League form is atrocious away from home. We've lost every game.
Yeah. But Sanj, what they do is they push the fullbacks really high up. Like Kimmich actually scored a goal, and he basically gets both of their fullbacks when it's Alaba on the left flank and Kimmich on the right flank. They basically go into the box, and they go that far high up. They're goal scoring threats. They're basically like wingers. So with obviously how Liverpool play and how quick you guys are on the counter, and with Bayern, who are probably going to play Zule and Hummels, and these guys are slow, it's very, very dangerous for Bayern to push those fullbacks high up and open themselves up and play how they usually do against you, because one ball from one of your midfielders, I'm guessing Wijnaldum or someone, makes a tackle, and that one outlet ball and Firmino hits it wide, it's a counterattack and they concede an away goal, and then it's absolute nightmare time for them, because they're going to have to try and break you down, and of course you have Van Dijk.
Yeah, I agree. It's an opportunity, but I mean, look, I point to United away, I point to Everton away, I could point to Man City away. They were even the Champions League games, Napoli away, PSG away, Red Star away. They were silent. They had a few chances, but they fluffed their lines. They just, I don't know what it could. They just it's like Welbeck in front, not Welbeck, but like Bambi on ice, whatever. Yeah. Our front three go missing when it comes to the final third in the Champions League away from home. Even in the Premier League, we did nothing against United. Salah missed 2 one-on-one opportunities against Everton. Mane hit the post against City, which would have given us the lead, I believe.
Yeah.
Away from home, we're not the same team this season, which is really weird. So, I mean, like you said, the fullbacks being high up, it's an advantage we can take. Like last season, we would rip Bayern because we were on fire. Like you saw us against Roma. They played the high line and we destroyed them. We were 5-0 up. But this season, the form and the confidence really isn't there.
Yeah.
If somehow Liverpool do get through this tie and get through to the quarters, who would you like to get in the next round?
Probably Spurs.
Wow.
They don't have any. They don't have any experience in the Champions League. And
Oi! Careful what you wish for, mate, eh?
Oh, Jesus Christ, this guy again.
I can't believe he snuck into this part.
There's a conspiracy here. Someone's I don't know. Someone's working. I think Andres is doing the raiding again.
Possibly, but I wouldn't mind Porto again, or like Porto. That would be nice.
Yeah. What about Barcelona?
I wouldn't mind Barcelona. I would like to test ourselves against them, to be honest.
Or
what
Manchester
I wouldn't
United.
Want, no, I don't want any Manchester club. Literally, because I can't handle losing to them. And then that means they're into the semi-finals, meaning they're 2 more games away from the final. And I swear to God, if one of those Manchester clubs wins the Champions League a year after we lose it, I can't, and we don't win the Premier League, you won't hear from me again. Literally, you won't hear from me.
I'm making my prediction now. If any club, and this is going to sound controversial, if any English club is going to win the Champions League this season, it'll be Man United. Possibly. You heard it here.
See, the way I feel is if Bayern go past Liverpool, I think Bayern will win it.
Over Barcelona?
Yes.
Over Juventus if they could overturn Atletico?
Yes.
Over Atletico if they get through?
Yes.
That's the thing. I wouldn't want Atletico in the next round either.
Yeah.
I don't want Atletico to win, otherwise Andres will get gassed.
I don't.
He's banned. I'd have to talk to him.
That's good. No, he'll have an alter ego account, won't he?
I wouldn't want Atletico anywhere near my team. But I'm just saying, in terms of Bayern, like they've figured stuff out. They've played the 3rd in the table at the time in Gladbach last week, and they've played 5th in the table in Wolfsburg this week. They've won with a combined goal difference of 11-1.
On 5-1 last week, 6-0 this week.
Jeez, they're literally doing everything that Liverpool needed to be doing, getting some form and confidence. If we somehow get through Bayern, I don't know what that could do for the motivation and the confidence for this team.
And
one point I wanted to get from you, like top 4 race in the Bundesliga. Do you see that being Leipzig and Mönchengladbach?
Actually, I see Leverkusen possibly catching one of them because Gladbach have had their injury issues, as said on the last pod.
Yeah.
They're now getting back to health, but their form is they barely beat Mainz by 1-0 away.
Yeah.
And it just.
But do you remember Eintracht Frankfurt have a game in Andover, Bayer Leverkusen against Fortuna Düsseldorf. So if Frankfurt win their game in Andover, they go above Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, but Leverkusen are in such good form.
Yeah.
The last game they lost was 3-2 to Dortmund away, and that's a very, very tough game. All of the other games under Peter Bosch they have won, including a win over Bayern. So yeah, I think Leverkusen will get one of the spots. I think it's between Leipzig and Gladbach now to hold on because Leverkusen's form has been absolutely scintillating. The football by Peter Bosch has been excellent. High pressing, high intensity, wonderful attacking football. Julian Brandt and Arsenal target Kai Havertz have been absolutely sensational for them as sort of a twin central midfield partnership. It's worked really, really well for Leverkusen, the move to Peter Bosch. But again, I'd like to focus on the title race. I know Dortmund fell out to Tottenham in midweek, and they haven't been good at all in that tie, and they didn't look convincing. But overall, in their league form, Dortmund have fallen off considerably since the first half of the season. It looks as if Lucien Favre's system has sort of been figured out, but more so than ever, the problem that Lucien Favre has is he's not a coach that rotates. He's someone that typically plays his players until they get injured or until they're dog-tired and he has to rest them. He likes continuity in his team, and that damages his team a lot. And 2 years ago when he was coaching at Nice, and Nice were, I think, 3rd in the table during the first part of the season, that was the year that Monaco won the league.
Yeah.
They were hanging around Monaco's tail. And around the same part of the season, Nice started falling off. So this is a pattern with Favre's teams, and it happened at Gladbach before then. He was close to challenging for a title, and then they would just fall off in the spring. And the criticism of him in Germany was he doesn't rotate. And this keeps popping up with this guy.
So do you stick by your point? You're still saying, Bayern will win this league?
Yes, because they look to have figured this out. And I think that even if Bayern don't go past Liverpool, which I think will happen with Bayern's form recently.
I agree.
With how tough Bayern are at home, I think the 0-0 definitely favors Bayern, and I think Bayern will win that game outright.
Some could argue Bayern didn't get there at least an away goal at Anfield, but people got to remember Allianz is a fortress. So that is a tough. I know we won the second leg when we faced them a couple of years ago. There, we still lost the tie, but still, like it is. Allianz is a difficult place to go to. People need to remember that.
Just remember last year Real Madrid went there. Yeah. Real Madrid got the win, but it was anything but a convincing Madrid performance. If anything, Bayern should have won that game by a mile, but Keylor Navas pulled off some worldies, and Real Madrid got a couple of counterattack goals. I think 2-1 that game finished. So it's in the Champions League or in the Bundesliga, the Allianz Arena is no joke. This is a stadium where you typically do not win, no matter who that the team Bayern are playing is. You are going to come under pressure. You are going to have to rely on your defense and your goalkeeper, and it will be a very, very hard test for Liverpool. But again, Bayern do have the slow backline of Hummels and Boateng usually, or in recent weeks it's been Hummels and Zula. So, and neither of those guys, I mean, Niklas Zula was rested at the weekend, but neither of those guys, Boateng, Hummels, Zula, whoever Kovac picks, none of those guys are necessarily quick, and none of those guys in open space can keep up with a Firmino, a Salah, or a Mane. So and a lot. So
you see Bayern going through then?
I do, but again, a lot of how Bayern attack comes through the overlapping of fullbacks. They usually push the fullbacks high, so they pin your wingers back, and what that does is it sort of contracts your entire team into this space of about 30-40 yards where then Bayern with their technical players just sort of move around you. They pass through you and find gaps and find goals. But if Bayern don't push their fullbacks up, which I wouldn't do since you're playing against Salah and Mane, and giving them any kind of space is very, very dangerous. You know, how do Bayern exactly break Liverpool down? That's another thing.
With the German league covered, we move over to Italy now. I don't think there's much to talk about it, considering Juve have extended their lead now, with Napoli drawing 1-1 against Sassuolo, Juve winning 4-1 against Udinese on Friday. Now 18 points clear with 11 games left. What are your thoughts on this?
And on that point with Juventus, I'd just like to point out quickly before we touch on the top 4 race, and obviously the Roma story of sacking Di Francesco, and we'll get into that a little bit. Juventus youngster Moise Kean, a player I've been excited for about 3 or 4 years now, because I've seen this guy play for Italy's under-17s in a tournament about 2 years ago. He was brilliant at the under-19s Euros this past summer. This guy is a budding superstar. He scored 2 goals against Udinese, and I know it's just Udinese. They're not good. They're a crap team in the league. They've been good throughout periods of their history, but recently they haven't been anything more than a mid-table team. This season they were a lower mid-table team. They're not good. They're in a relegation scrap. this guy is just absolutely brilliant. And if you can check his second goal where he goes on a lovely run, goes past the player, and what he does, Tony, and this is a sign of a elite striker in my mind, is he sees that the goalkeeper is sort of angling to take out the far post, if you will. So Keane is coming on from the left flank. He's gone on a run, took the wing back out with his first touch, then darted past the center, then sort of rolled the ball past the center back with his second touch, and he's a bit overextended. And he sees the goalkeeper sort of from 7-8 yards out come out of his line and sort of get on his toes as if he knows that Keane will open his body up and try to bend the ball in a far corner. Now, what Keane does is he sees that and he takes the ball with the outside of his boot into the first corner first time in the near post. And he just smashes it. And the goalkeeper just absolutely gets caught on his wrong foot. And you could see that he looked at the goalkeeper, spotted where the goalkeeper thought he was going to put the ball in, and just took advantage of bad positioning and put his second goal away. Now, this is a player who, and I'm telling you, this is why I went in depth in analysis on this podcast on Moise Kean, because I legitimately think that this is a guy who in 2 or 3 years will be just as big as Mbappe is right now. This player is special. He is special. He's only 18 years old. He burst onto the scene a couple of years ago when he scored 2 goals and made his debut for Juventus at 16.
Wow.
This guy is unbelievably good.
And Juve still unbeaten this season in the league as well.
Yeah. But
it's completely running away with.
On Moise Kean, I want to see this guy more and more as Juventus sort of progress in the stage of this team, sort of getting a bit older. Obviously, Ronaldo needs a rest here and there. They rested Ronaldo, they rested Mandzukic, they rested a lot of their key players because they're trying to catch up. They're trying to catch up to Atletico in that tie, and we'll get onto that a bit later. But I think Moise Kean hasn't had a lot of minutes this season. He's been around the team, and I think being around Ronaldo will help this guy long term because he seems to have progressed a lot. He was good at Hellas Verona last season. He went on loan, and he was pretty good. He was moved all over the attack, but he scored a team that was generally absolutely awful. So he was feeding off of scraps, and he was still good. And now in a proper team as Juventus, you see what this guy can do. It's just, he is a player that, if this guy doesn't work out, it's on Juve, because this type of talent is just something that you need to give playing time to, and it's something that Woogie went on a rant on in his rant battle, I think about 10 days ago.
Yeah.
He demanded more playing time for players in youth players that were ready for it. And Moise Kean is someone who, in my opinion, should be getting the time ahead of. And again, as much as I love Mario Mandzukic, he's getting near the end. He needs to be rested if you want him to be fresh for the big games. And Allegri has basically ridden Mandzukic into the ground for most of this season.
Absolutely.
When Mandzukic is half fit, Allegri forces him out there and has him playing Bologna and Chievo and all of those teams. For what purpose, I don't know, because you have Moise Kean sitting on the bench just doing nothing.
Wow.
This guy comes in against Udinese, scores 2 goals. Like it's nobody's business.
Just to point out to the viewers as well, there is Italian game tonight, Roma playing Empoli. So if Roma win that tonight, they'll go 3 points behind fourth place Inter Milan as well.
And on that point, let's touch quickly on Roma sacking Eusebio Di Francesco. Obviously, Tony, you've seen Roma do well in the last sort of 18 months under Di Francesco, and potential Arsenal director of football Monchi, who has stepped away along with Di Francesco because of his general frustration with Roma. What is your opinion on Roma sacking Di Francesco again with a game in hand tonight and still being close to the Champions League target they have in the league?
I think it didn't help with the beginning of the season, because it was like go back a few weeks or even a month, 2 months ago, and Roma were quite far behind the top four. Like I think they've only caught up really because of Inter Milan having a poor run recently. By Roma standards, they should be like, if you look at the past couple of seasons, they've been second or third, like battling with Napoli. And so by Roma standards, that's been a poor season. I find it interesting, though, that after Fulham sacked Ranieri, Roma bring in Ranieri. That's what I find surprising.
On Ranieri, though, it's because Claudio Ranieri is a Romanista. He's a guy who is a childhood Roma fan. He's always been there for the club whenever Roma needed him. And as manager of Roma, he's had some pretty good results. He finished second in Mourinho's Inter treble-winning season. Ranieri finished second as manager of Roma that year with them. So he's someone who I think is ideal for them to step in and sort of guide them till the end of the season until they figure out what they want to do. But a lot of Roma fans were upset at director of football Monchi, who of course stepped away along with Eusebio Di Francesco, who was Monchi's hire, and this is Monchi's team. And again, this team is full of youngsters. It's filled with sort of young, exciting prospects like Cengiz Ünder, Justin Kluivert, Patrick Schick, Nicolo Zaniolo, Pellegrini. There's a lot of these very, very good young players that potentially could be future stars for big teams, for big Champions League contenders. These guys are all have topped up level ceiling. But the problem really with Roma and with Monchi's decision making has been that he sold a lot of players for very, very big money, and he's brought in some very questionable signings in the likes of Steven Nzonzi and most notably Javier Pastore. Now, Nzonzi is Monchi's guy, and the idea was they needed to alleviate the pressure on Daniele De Rossi, who is the aging Roma captain, and they needed someone to rotate with De Rossi in defensive midfield, so that's why Nzonzi came in, and of course he's a trusted Monchi guy. So I don't think that was particularly bad, but Nzonzi hasn't adjusted to Italy as much as potentially you would like.
Yeah.
But he's still been pretty decent.
Same
with Brian Cristante, who came in, and he's been actually excellent in central midfield, defensive midfield. Cristante is sort of a box-to-box player. And in general, this Roma team has some talent, but the problem has been, for instance, with the signing of Pastore, it's something that's been very much confirmed by most reporters that follow the Italian landscape, that owner Jim Pallotta is someone who likes to meddle with transfers and constructing the team. He's someone that's very, very involved to the point where he seemed to have taken power from Monchi in terms of having final say on the decisions about the squad. And Monchi was growing increasingly frustrated by that. He was growing increasingly frustrated by the pressure of of Roma, because I don't know if you know this, Tony, but Roma is, I would say, behind Real Madrid, it's the most pressurized environment for managers and for players.
Yeah.
If you lose...
Yeah, it's quite common knowledge, yeah.
If you lose as a Roma player, if you lose in Rome, you're getting stick. You basically can't go out the house. It's something that Francesco Totti talked about a ton, and in his book he detailed how he would tell players who would come to Rome after a loss in the league to say a mid-table team after a bad performance. He would say to the guys, don't go out, don't go to bars, don't go to restaurants, stay in your house, go to training, and basically don't show your face for a week.
Wow.
Unless you want to get stopped in the street every 2 yards and someone yelling in your face how shit you were at the game.
Wow.
It's that type of culture in Rome, and you understand that with the 3-0 loss in the Rome derby. Again, Roma have not lost the derby for, I think, 12 years. It's been 12 years since Roma have lost the derby by a 3-goal margin. And at that time, it was such a mountainous sort of climb for Lazio to make, that their manager Delio Rossi took a bath in a fountain in the center of Rome. How special it was to beat Roma by a 3-goal margin.
Wow, that is ludicrous.
And reportedly, to make this story funny, to make this anecdote funny, Roma fans reportedly were pissing in the fountain the whole week leading up to the game, because Delio Rossi said, if we beat Roma, I'm gonna take a bath in the fountain.
Oh, that's nasty.
So
that is nasty.
I mean,
do you see Roma getting into this top 4 though?
I just don't know with Ranieri. Like with Ranieri, you never know how is it gonna go. At Leicester, he won the title. He came in at Fulham. It was a complete disaster. With Roma, he finished second. He managed Parma, I think, a couple of years before that, and he barely stayed up in the league.
Yeah.
And there was a situation with in the early 2000s, of course, we all remember Chelsea. Abramovich's first manager was Claudio Ranieri. He came in, they had a hugely expensive team assembled, and Ranieri completely underachieved given the expectations. So I have no idea where Roma is going, and I think that Roma fans, again, I've talked about the pressure, they actually argued with Monchi in an airport and basically lambasted him for the team's performances, and they blamed Monchi for some of Di Francesco's tactical shortcomings, which of course Monchi has nothing to do with, but Monchi did say that Di Francesco and him are a package, and if one leaves, the other one will go, and they did sort of make a pact like that. So Pallotta sacked Di Francesco and Monchi stepped away because
they kept to their word.
Not just that, it was Pallotta again being meddlesome. You know, he didn't. Di Francesco, by the way, won his last 3 games before losing the derby to Lazio. They lost 3-0. They won their 3 games before that. So it was up and down as Roma usually is. But Pallotta, again, did not stick to his word. He did not allow Monchi, because when he hired Monchi, he promised Monchi that he will have full control. He did not stick to his word. Pastore was a Pallotta-driven signing, and now Monchi gets the blame for Pastore.
Wow.
And
with the politics in Italian football covered, we move over to the Liga. Barcelona still top, beating Rayo Vallecano 3-1 at the Nou Camp. What's your thoughts on this?
think Barca have this league on lock. I don't even. I find it pointless to talk about Spain again. I know I went for a bit of a rant about Roma and how they're run. It's because I find it interesting, not only because Monchi has been linked to Arsenal. It's because of how a particular owner, how owners can be overly meddlesome in certain situations, and it just, in general, I found the subject interesting. But on La Liga, I just don't think there's much point to discuss this situation.
I agree.
Other than to what we've done already in the intro, is discuss Real Madrid rehiring Zinedine Zidane with inflated powers, if you will, as sort of an old school English manager type now, where he has control over his squad. And I think it will be interesting to see how Real Madrid perform in the league until the end of the season, whether Zidane again gives them a lift, whether some players step up, whether form picks up, what type of team he will choose. But other than that, I just don't see much point in discussing the Spanish league. Because
I agree.
It's Barcelona's going to win it. Atletico's probably going to finish second. Real's probably going to come in third. Getafe looks set.
And fourth is up for grabs.
Fourth is up to grabs. Getafe looked in good position, but Sevilla won 5-2 at the weekend against Sociedad. So you never know. Maybe Sevilla can make a run. But again, Sevilla at home, brilliant. Sevilla away, absolute disaster. So, and just to illustrate that, Sevilla are the third best team in Spain in home form, behind Atletico and Barcelona. They've taken 27 points from 13 games. On the road, Sevilla are 13th. They've taken 13 points from 14 games. They've lost their last 5 away games.
Well, it's funny you say about pointless leagues. We should go to the most pointless one in Europe, the French league. Well, tomorrow, Paris Saint-Germain face Dijon away. Don't even need to predict that. PSG are going to win that game. They've won the title. They got 2 games in hand over Lille. If they win their 2 games in hand, they go 20 points clear. Do we need to say more? Is there anything to expand on here? Like,
no,
it's embarrassing, really. It's embarrassing.
It is, but we don't even have to talk about PSG anymore because they're out of the Champions League.
Yeah, there's PSG. There's literally zero to discuss about Paris Saint-Germain because they've won the league. They're out of the Champions League. Let's move on.
And I think the funny thing about this whole situation is you've mentioned PSG played today. They've literally
tomorrow. They play tomorrow against Dijon away.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. So they've literally, the French league has literally accommodated PSG to the point of putting their game, I think their last game they played on Friday, and now they play on Tuesday. So they've literally freed them a space of, what is it?
7 ridiculous.
7-8 days. 9 days to focus on the Champions League, and they go out and they bottle it.
So they get everything done in their favour, and they still can't do it.
Exactly.
It's embarrassing.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievably embarrassing.
I don't know what. I don't even want energy on that team, to be honest.
Me neither. And
I think we should. I personally would rather just move on to the previews of the Champions League because PSG aren't worth my energy.
Me too, and I'll just say this last point. If the French league wants to be competitive, the French Football Association needs to look into shortening up the league. Either go to 18 teams or go to 16 teams because this is pointless. This is absolutely pointless. PSG go and they travel to a team like Dijon and they'll win 7 or 8-0 and nobody cares. They'll go to Strasbourg who are 10th in the table and they'll win 5-0.
Yeah,
it's
embarrassing.
I know France,
But
French football have some teams that have great support and have great ultras and all of that, and I understand that it's a big country and they think they should have a 20-team league, but
yeah,
your league is not getting viewership, it's not getting revenue. The teams that are below PSG do not have the money to compete with PSG. Lille can't afford it. Lyon can't afford it. Marseille can't afford it.
You'd think Monaco could. You'd think Monaco could afford it.
You could, but they've had a disaster season. Their owners seem to have started spending less. And my point on this is shorten up the league, get it to 18 or 16 teams, get the revenue redistributed more fairly, and get the other teams more competitive with PSG. Give them at least a fighting chance. Because this is pointless.
Well, moving on to more competitive fixtures, we've got the previews for the 4 Champions League round of 16 second legs. We'll start with Juventus against Atletico. Juventus 2-0 down, but they are playing at home this week. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we've already discussed Bayern and Liverpool in the German League segment.
Yeah.
So I think we're pretty much covered there. I think Man City and Schalke from the previews. I think that's I don't see City having any problems with Schalke. Schalke are absolutely terrible. They are an awful team. They're completely stinking up the Bundesliga, and I think City will run them over. As for Barcelona, Lyon on Wednesday, I think Barca do the business there. I'd be surprised if Lyon do something, but again, you never know. If Messi,
you never know.
If Messi doesn't score, I don't think Barca can score. So, but again, it's Messi. You know, it's Messi in the Champions League. He's bound to score, right?
Yeah. So you're saying you see, for me, I think City will win. They'll go through. Barca will go through. Bayern will go through. And I'm going to say it now, and it's on record here. I think Juve are going to overturn it and go through.
Exactly, and that's why I wanted to run through all of these other fixtures, because I don't think they'll be nearly as interesting or compelling as Juventus trying to break down Atletico Madrid. Again, they've rested, as I've said in the Italian League segment, they've rested pretty much their entire squad. They're all going to be fresh, fit, and ready. It's at home. It's Ronaldo, it's Dybala, it's Pjanic, it's Mandzukic, it's all of those guys. The big boys come out. Tony, you're convinced that they can do this?
I think I'm still convinced Juve can do this. Atletico are the bottle drops. They're the Spanish Tottenham, aren't they?
Let me ask you one question. If there is one team in the last, I'd say one team in the last decade to have a 2-0 lead in a 2-legged tie going away from home and they have to defend that lead, would you pick any other team than Atletico Madrid?
What, to overturn that?
No, to defend the 2-0 lead.
Well, put it this way, if it was against Barcelona, or if it was against United, if it was against City, if it was against Bayern, I'd say, Juve are gone. Atletico, they are bottlers. I think they will crumble.
But again, I'm asking you, in the last decade, in terms of defensive teams, you give Atletico a 2-0 lead, they have to go and defend it. Would you pick any other team than Diego Simeone and Atletico to defend the 2-0 lead?
I can see why people think they will, because they are a defensive side, but I think Juve have got so much quality going forward that they can break this defence, especially at home as well.
But again, away at the Wanda, it was Juve were absolutely without any ideas. They were without any solutions. They looked completely dead, flat, and buried.
Yeah.
So
it's true. It's true.
My question, Tony, is you think really that that Juve can? Are you that convinced? Because you seem convinced, but I don't. I think Juve can do it, but it's in my head.
I believe it purely because we know Atletico is a bottler. So when everything's going in their favour.
Yeah, but in my head, listen. In my head, it's Juve have about 30% chance, and that chance will go up if they can score an early goal. But I don't see Atletico giving up an early goal.
Do you think Simeone's in trouble if Atletico get knocked out?
No, hell no. They'll never fire him. He'll be like Arsene Wenger. He'll stay even longer. He'll stay for 30 years.
Wow.
Like see. I think Simeone at Atletico is literally the one and only man for that job, and I think that job is the one and only job for him, where manager and club suit each other perfectly. I don't think you get away with that defensive, hard-working football anywhere else at a top club, and I think that Atletico trying to play attacking football, which they've tried with numerous managers, does not work.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect marriage of manager and club. Because if Simeone, people have speculated, Simeone should go to Arsenal, he should go to Man United, he should go here. We wouldn't put up with this crap at Arsenal. Let's be real. We would not sit there. Claude would. I can see Claude doing it. I can see Claude showing up to every single game, home and away, and cheering low block 4-4-2, and us looking like an A-Tech version of Burnley, basically, and waiting for set pieces. And Mesut Ozil getting the ball 2 times a game to put in a corner, and us and Socrates heading the ball home. In the 88th minute, and us winning 1-0 at the Emirates. Claude would show up for that. The rest of us wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Wouldn't. Valid point.
At Man United, they were moaning about Mourinho. Mourinho, who's a counter-attacking manager, who does at times have teams that are exciting on the break.
Yeah.
He's not an attacking manager, but he also is a manager who understands that his teams need to counterattack and need to pose some sort of threat.
Yeah.
And imagine Simeone at Manchester United.
Wow.
They would go insane.
They would.
It's literally 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes of a half, because I think they attack for about 5 minutes of each half. That's the ratio of Atletico's halves. Like 40 minutes of sitting in their own box and 5 minutes of actually going up the other end. That's pretty much it. They'd go insane at Old Trafford. And somebody actually called for Simeone there.
I know. But on that note, with interesting games coming up in the Champions League, and got some big news to break transfer-wise on Friday, I have. Which I hope you'll tune in and look forward to that. We should wrap up now. If you can, like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rant Boys. Follow us on Twitter, Rant_Boys.
Definitely.
Follow Obama G Yang and Tony Arsenal 1 on Twitter both. And just keep sending in suggestions, keep send us ideas. We are listening to all feedback, positive, negative, all sorts, to try and improve the podcast, and please just help us grow. Yeah,
please rate, subscribe, share, review, comment, get on it with, share with your friends. Help us grow this thing, because we enjoy doing this, but again, it's not. We don't do it for the clicks. We don't do it for the views. We do it because we love doing it. But it's definitely rewarding if we see feedback, if we see you guys enjoying it. It helps us validate our work, because we put in hours. We put in our time, our own time to do this. So
around our jobs as well. We do.
Every single comment, every single like, every single share, every new subscriber we get, we value it. We enjoy your contributions when you give us some comments, and we do try to improve. We had a suggestion about including more debate in the podcast. I think this podcast was a bit more debate centered. I think we definitely touched on various points that I think necessarily we don't agree on. I think it was definitely some heated counterpoints going on in there. And hopefully next week you guys stick around with us. In the international break, we will record some sort of debate-centered podcast. I do have a couple of ideas.
Yeah, I do like my international football, as Auburn knows.
Yeah, but we definitely will touch upon some sort of debate that's been struck upon this year of football, whether it's transfer policy, whether it's ownership structure, whether it's club structure. We will have some sort of podcast on a general topic that we will have a panel and debate it. But until then, please rate, share, subscribe, review, and as always, enjoy the podcast. Tony, this time next year,
we'll be millionaires.
Enjoy it, guys. Goodbye.
Good night.